Okay, we are live tonight for our December board meeting. It is Monday, December 15th, 2025, Columbia School District Business Board Meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, oath of office. All right. So, first of all, congratulations to Crystal and Thad on your re-election. Who would like to go first? Well, he pointed to you. You can stay where you're at, or you can come on out. You have to stand. Okay, and raise your right hand, and I'll just repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Crystal Meaden,
Do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws of the state of
and the
Washington,
laws of the state of Washington,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of Director of Columbia School District Number 400,
as Director of Columbia School District 400,
Walla Walla County,
Walla Walla County,
State of Washington,
State of Washington,
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. Okay, Thad. Same thing, Thad. You ready?
I'm ready.
I state your name.
I, Thaddeus Pereira,
Do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the state of Washington,
and the laws of the state of Washington,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of Director of Columbia School District Number 400,
Director of Columbia School District Number 400,
Walla Walla County,
Walla Walla County,
State of Washington,
State of Washington,
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. We've got a full board again. Appreciate you doing that. We will put these in the paperwork. We need to sign these off tonight in the meeting, and we'll get those submitted and sent on. Awesome. Good news. So we have some great news. Elevate from the Blue Mountain Action Council was going to be here to tell you all about the new things happening at Columbia High School. But last minute, they called literally after school. One had an emergency, the other one went home sick. And I said, sorry about that, but we'll bring them back to you, talk to you just real briefly. This is a new group we have in this year, helping support our students for post-secondary graduation. So we have our traditional Gear Up program there, and now this Blue Mountain Action Council with the Elevate program doing a very similar model. So Kevin, you want to say anything about anything? I didn't prompt you with that, but anything you want to say about that?
We're working with a lot of our seniors, just on transitioning out of the high school. So showing them some scholarship opportunities, and they did some FAFSA things. They were at our conferences and giving information to parents. So the group, BMAC or Blue Mountain Action Council, is doing a lot of things in our community. So this is another great program.
We got a new individual at our high school, bilingual, that's in helping with our students and our families. It's all grant funded. It doesn't cost us anything. We have it for at least 2 years, and then we'll go from there.
What's that position called?
It is, I don't know the specific title. Sorry, Michael.
We have a new guidance counselor, and then we have this position, right?
Yes. Well, this position really mirrors more closely to our Gear Up coordinator. So it's really our Blue Mountain Action Council coordinator.
Okay.
She's a gal that's coming in, that's, as Kevin mentioned, doing those things. It's really post-secondary, I'm excited about this group coming in because they have some things behind them with the grant that comes in with some actual items with research and data. I mean, one of the pieces they really want to do is start helping us track post-secondary, what happens to our kids beyond high school. There's some places that we could do better looking at that with those additional supports. So
And that's something we've talked about getting better data on for 20 years.
So I'll bring them back to you.
Thank you.
Feeling better.
Okay, board operating principal review. I'll do the board. Would you do superintendent?
Absolutely.
Be prepared. Board, read all materials. Call and ask questions in advance. Seek clarification and information as needed. When possible, explain to the superintendent in advance about concerns about a proposal.
Superintendent, develop recommendations that combine the best interests of schools, needs of the district within the region, that reflect the priorities and goals that have been adopted by the board.
Do you anticipate any changes to the agenda?
We cannot make any changes or adjustments in terms of adding anything because it's a special meeting reminder. It's 1 week early, so the only thing I would like to do is adjust the order at which it happens in. I'm going to ask to move Tavis up following this. He's feeling a little under the weather, so I promised him I'd get him here, let him present to you, and let him get home, so he's feeling better. You're okay with that?
I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so with that, Tavis, you guys obviously know Tavis, although he's new to us this year, he's been doing an amazing job with us, our new middle school, high school assistant principal and district athletic director. I've asked him to come talk to you briefly and just give you some updates on our athletics and how things are going to start the year. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's do a quick fall recap. In the data in the middle here, the table has all the data for participants we've had during the fall, and then what we will have signed up for the spring and the winter. That's for middle school and high school. For football this year, we had 15 positions recognized as all EWAC. Matthew Wilder was Offensive Player of the Year, and Columbia Burbank was awarded the Sportsmanship Award for our district this year, or for our league, I'm sorry. Volleyball, we had 3 girls on EWAC. We made the first round of districts, so that was exciting.
I don't think we should glaze over the.
He told me I had to be done in 5 minutes. So.
Gotta go back to that for a second.
It was nominated by, I will tell you, I was at the meeting because I ran the EWAC football awards, and it was nominated by Tri-Cities Prep, and they commended us on how good of a job they thought we did this year, and our sportsmanship throughout the whole year. And he'd been to multiple games here, scouting us and then playing us, and he had a lot of great things about the way our kids acted this year. And again, I can't compare it to last year, so I don't know, but he did have a lot of complimentary things about our kids and the way they reacted and acted in our games. So, and everyone seemed to go along with that and said that we did a good job. And EWAC.
It's a good building.
Yeah.
Point. I mean, I think we should build that and move on through the rest of what we're doing because, it's been a little shaky in the years past, so.
Kudos to you guys, Kevin.
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
the football program. The volleyball team had 3 EWAC recognized, and they made the first round of districts for the first time, I think, in a few years anyway. I'm talking to their coaches. Soccer was great. We had 14 girls out all year for soccer. 13 of them were high school, 1 8th grader, only 2 seniors. So hopefully we have 12 returning plus. We'll add on to that. So we had a full team, which was great. Just numbers wise, it was great. I won't go through all the numbers. They're all there for. If you see the plus, that's 8th graders. So, for example, high school girls is 13 high school girls, plus 1 is 1 8th grader that participated. In girls basketball, we have that 15 plus we have 3. The exciting thing about girls basketball is we're getting back to the point now where if we return everyone, we have 1 senior that just turned out this year. So we'll have 17 returning plus hopefully gaining a few. So we won't be calling up 8th graders anymore. Once we get that above 16, so at 17 and above, you can't call up 8th graders. So we're at a good spot, hopefully, returning 17 girls. Hopefully adding a few, so we have a varsity and JV compiled of just high school girls. So that's exciting going forward. Again, the spring is just projections. That's what signed up on final forms, so we can't go off of that. That's just who has signed up. And as far as the Title IX, I know that's one of the things that I was told as director of Title IX, so I put those numbers in there. Right now, we have more girls signed up to participate than boys this year, to 209 to 204, so that's kind of exciting too. I should be a lot of that too. A lot of middle school girls are participating. We can see that in the lower levels, so that's exciting for the future of high school sports. I put some short-term and long-term goal in here. Our short-term goal is possibly up to the board. If we want to be branded by Nike, what that would do for our school is it would give us a 30 to 40% discount on all jerseys going forward by Nike, and also by products that we wanted to buy. So if we wanted to buy coaches gear, or if we wanted to buy stuff, essentially any group in our school could buy Nike products, whether it's FFA wanted to buy Nike sweatshirts at 30 to 40% off. It could use it all the way down to the elementary school. If the teachers had a cohort together and they wanted to buy Nike something, they would get that discount as well. The only requirement is that you have to wear Nike varsity uniforms. So our JV would not be required to wear Nike. We would not be required to have travel gear as Nike. It would just be only on-field uniforms that school provides would have to be Nike. Everything else could be whatever the kids buy. So if the kids wanted to buy Adidas shoes, that's fine. They can wear Adidas shoes. If we were to buy the kids' shoes, which we don't do, but if the school was to provide shoes like a uniform, it'd have to be Nike. So if we got together and said, hey, we're buying all the high school kids' shoes this year, it'd have to be Nike. But since we don't do that, we're not required to follow that. It's only what the school provides. And then it's same as like, I know Todd has done a great job, and football does this too. They buy things through BSN or Game One. They can still buy that stuff for shirts to wear to games. That stuff's also on the table. So, not this Todd, but the other one. Is there any questions about that? I know it's kind of a confusing.
What are some pros and cons of it? I mean,
Well, the pro is that we get a discount, obviously. The con is that you have to wear Nike uniforms, and you have 5 years to adjust all of your uniforms to Nike. All of our uniforms, looking at the schedule, the jersey schedule we're in right now is in a 5-year loop. So we could essentially do that, all go to Nike in that 5 years. We don't have to do one we don't have to do all of them at once. We could do one every year. So we could stay with, let's say, an Adidas jersey or Under Armour jersey for basketball. If we want to do that in the 5th year, we could wait till the 5th year to buy that in the Nike uniform. The con was always that we want to use Game One because it's a local company out of Spokane, and they didn't carry Nike. And that was one of the reasons why we haven't done it in the past. Game One now does carry Nike. So we're trying to keep all of our business local with the same vendors we have had. But now there was a big match between BSN and Game One. BSN controlled Nike, Game One controlled Adidas, and that kind of went away at the end of last year. We both have contracts, open contracts with every company now. So
will it be more or less money? I mean, I know we're getting a discount for Nike, but
all jerseys are basically the same. So it would be a reduced cost for us. And I know football already goes. Football is the most expensive one, just because football jerseys are the most expensive. They've already gone with Nike. So essentially, we have that one in Nike already, but they're in the cycle for the next set, I think, of uniforms to purchase. So the cons, I guess, would just be you have to go all Nike varsity. But like I said, JV, C team, junior high, or middle school, all those can use other products. So it doesn't trickle all the way down through K through 12. It's just the high school varsity is what has to be in Nike.
so you think there may be a money savings in the long run?
There's definitely money savings, and they also will provide us, the first year we sign up with this, Game One will provide a $1,000 bonus to us that we can use any way we want. So we could use it to, if we wanted to buy a certain thing for the school or athletics, some of the big poster boards they use at schools that, for like signing day for like college basketball, where they see the coyote behind you, the cloth one, those are about $1,200, $1,500. We could use that $1,000 for there. Nike will give us money every year to buy coaches gear or whatever we want to, but you can't use that money to buy uniforms. You can, but you don't get the discount. They give you a $5,000 stipend to buy stuff for the school every year, but you can't. You can use it for uniforms, but you won't get the 40% off if you use it on uniforms. It has to come out of school dollars. The $5,000 could go to other avenues where we want to brand that as. Whether if we want to go through buy all the coaches matching polos or something like that to look nice on the field. We want to buy all the kids matching shirts. We could use that money for there. There's just no discount when you use that money.
But we don't get that 5,000.
No, the $5,000 is only credit essentially for Nike to buy Nike products for our school.
But now when we buy the coaches all a shirt or this or that, I mean,
use that.
we pay that full price.
You pay that full price, but we can use the credit money for that. So when you use credit money, you don't get the discount essentially. But it'd be like having a $5,000 credit every year at Nike for the next 5 years too. So some of the things that, as a coach, we've done in the past is we've bought T-shirts for every kid in the school that participates in sports, so that like when whether it's football, it would just be Burbank Athletics or Coyote Athletics. So when they go to a football game or basketball, every student would have the same Nike T-shirt on, or we could do sweatshirts or something depending on where we're at financially and how many kids participate. So that's the pros and the cons. The con was always, I believe, just talking to our sales rep, is that Game One has always been our distributor since we've switched over to them, and then they haven't been provided Nike with a contract. Now they do, so that's why we haven't gone that way in the past. So. The next one's long-term goal. Just looking just over numbers, I think that a conversation could be had future going forward to add soccer in the spring for boys. Just because I'm looking at our demographics, and in the high school, we currently have 63 boys who identify as Hispanic Latino. Only 3 of those boys are participating in sports right now. So we're at less than 5% of our Hispanic males are participating in sports. And the reason why I think it would be a benefit to our school to offer that is, one, they'd feel more included in participating, but also it would lead to the springtime sport where we're not using the football field, but it lead to better attendance in the spring through that demographic and better grades and probably better graduation rates as well, just having some opportunity for them. And I've talked to multiple students, and they have told me, the Latino students have told me they don't feel like there's anything here for them to participate in because they don't want to play football, they don't play basketball. And I looked last year, or this year, we don't have one Latino or Hispanic student sign up for a spring sport. We had, I think, two in the fall and 2 in the winter. One student was double. He was wrestled and played football that identified as Hispanic. So there was a total of 4 activities, but only 3 students totally doing that. So
What does that do for Title IX compliance? I mean, I know we had girls soccer to try to get those numbers up. Now if we flip-flop it again and we're.
that's something we look forward. That's why I put the numbers that we are having more girls participate right now than boys. That would obviously skew that. Cause I mean, the hope is we'd get 20, 25 boys out playing soccer. If we did that, we might add something such as tennis or another opportunity for girls to participate in. It's kind of more of a long-term goal, seeing where we go. There's a referendum for 2B to be moved to the spring for soccer. Right now it's in the fall, which would obviously be a no way for us because we don't have the field capability to run another fall sport. A lot of the teams in our district are playing with the SCAC for 1A, and they're just bumping up to 1A to play in the spring so they can participate in that level. But it's just a long-term goal of how do we get kids more involved, and how do we affect our graduation rates, our attendance, all those things that we value is important to our student in their engagement with the school and in their pride in the school as well.
How many schools in our league offer boys soccer right now?
Right now, I believe Mabton. I'll have to think about this a second. I know Highland does. Warden does not. Granger, I believe, does in the spring. So I would say there's 5 or 6 schools in our 12-team EWAC, East and West EWAC, that do right now. And up north, it's a little bit. There's a few too, but all of them go to the SCAC. They don't play in the fall, so that way it wouldn't affect our football or our. I guess basically our football numbers. That's the big concern that I would have adding a sport like soccer would be the draw it would have on something like football and splitting that because our numbers are good right now at football. We want to keep them good. As far as varsity and JV.
When do you think they'll move it to the spring for our
2B?
classification?
Well, there's a referendum. It seems like every year. The last 2 years there have been referendums trying to move it to spring, so it could be as fast as next year. That is something they're on. If we decided in the future to go and they haven't moved it, then we could go to the SCAC and play 1A level, which I think we'd be competitive at. Just looking at, fortunately, I'm able to work at the middle school during lunchtime, and I see 30 kids out there playing soccer every day during lunch. And they're almost all Hispanic, and I probably had 15 middle school kids ask me about high school soccer, and probably more than that in high school. So I think there is an interest there, I would say.
The referendum question, Michael, is if it's in this year's ones, we just received those within the last week. So those will get voted on each year. And so if it's in, I haven't looked.
It'd be March if
extensively,
they get passed.
It would be passed this spring and they would start the following year. If it passes.
Thank you.
Any questions or updates? Or?
Oh, I like the idea of at least looking at that. What it would cost to add. I mean, we should have a pretty good idea adding girls within the last few years. We should kind of know what that.
I think the one nice thing about if we did go in that direction or looking at that, the cost would essentially just be the uniforms and the coach because we have the balls. We could the girls. It's not like basketball where they switch balls up. They're the same size ball. We could use a lot of that same material and kind of recycle that every year, buy one and use both for game balls or practice balls and practice equipment, stuff like that. Until we get on our feet a little bit more and goes forward. But
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. So we'll take us back to consent agenda.
Okay. Looks like we've got 4 items. Thanks, Tavis.
thank you guys.
Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Do you have something, Michael? You good?
Can you just give us a real brief on what you can talk about? I leave of absence for Haley and then so this Merlin check and connect paraeducator, is that this position we talked about?
No. So the first one is a current employee who has assumed another position, and that was the high school counseling position. Because it's only a temporary position, she's taken a leave of absence from her old position just to protect her old position as she assumes that new temporary position for the remainder of the year. That's just by contract rules and regulations. Make sense on that one? Second one is, I've been talking to you about our goals for MTSS and PBIS. This is an individual who's doing what we call Check and Connect. It's a tier 2 support piece that we're working on trying to, Kevin, how would I say, encourage attendance.
Yeah, he's mentoring
He's-
some of our high at-risk students. And so he's just making connections throughout the week and did a little interview, talks to them about their struggles making it to class and how we can support them and trying to give them back the power to.
He does not have a teaching certificate, though.
No, he's currently with us in a classified role. And I've been talking to you about how we build these things in tiers based on the students that we serve and the supports that we're building for them. This is a tier 2, so not all kids, just some kids are gonna get this. And based on the data attendance, we've targeted some students that need some additional support, and that's what his target is. It's building relationships, working with them, a check-in, doing some of these other pieces, and it's kind of those tiered level supports I told you we'd be building in through this.
Okay, thank you. Question on the first one. Moving out of the middle school, going to the high school, she's taking a leave of absence to protect her job in the middle school. Will we backfill that, or are we going without a counselor?
Nope, we're already in the process of backfilling it.
Any further discussion?
Good questions.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Here, any visitors? Mr. Alley, anything? Thank you for being here as always.
Reports and discussions.
Mrs. Donlin?
Right, enrollment and budget status for December. Enrollment for December, we are at 752.5 million. That includes our transitional kindergarten, and our average is at 749.21. You can see from last year, we had for December, an increase of 9.81. Budget status, general fund. These numbers are all as of October 31st. So general fund, we're at 3 million.
And remind me, that was part of that, so the taxes we just got recently, right, in the fall?
Correct, yeah, we had
Our fall
tax
taxes.
revenue from October, so that's why you see a larger amount there. Capital Projects Fund, we are at 385,000. Debt Service Fund, 291,000. ASB Fund, 174,000. And Transportation Vehicle Fund, 135,000.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, we are school choice.
So I like to bring this back to the board yearly, so I try to do this typically in January, which we've got kind of through the beginning part of the year. We kind of know where kids are going, they're not coming and going nearly as much. But I bring this back to you because 8 years ago, when I was hired, this was one of the misconceptions I walked into, and there was a lot of questions and talk about where kids are going and, you know, are students choicing in or choicing out, and I try to bring this back to you on a yearly basis to make sure I put the data in front of you. Because as I walked in 8 years ago, there was a lot of conversation about we got a lot of kids leaving, was the perception, and I said, well, let's get the data and see what that actually looks like. And so I want to bring back to you our family and student choice numbers. You can see students choicing out this year of our district. Those are students that are choicing out, going to other schools. Other places, they're attempting to permanently go somewhere, enrolled somewhere else. This year we have 37 students that have choiced out, whether that's Richland, Pasco, Kennewick, a private school, done something of that nature. But we have 94 students that are not enrolled, not living within our district, that are attempting to choice into our district. So I just kind of want to put that in front of you, saying that we've got, I always say, we got more than twice as many kids opting to come into Burbank than opting to leave. And I just like to keep that out in front of people, because this was a big piece. People had told me when I arrived here that we had people flocking and leaving left and right, going to other places and other programs. So I just want to bring that back to you and just tell you, what they want. Most of the time when I talk to people, they're looking for the smaller environment. They're looking for relationships. They're looking for smaller class sizes. They're looking for those unique things a small school provides. That's what people are choosing into. Go ahead, Michael.
You look at, I think it's cute how you say home-based instruction, basically homeschooling, right? How do we really verify those numbers?
You want to go into that?
Sure.
She is the.
Every year, I believe it's by September 15th, they're required by the state of Washington to turn in a homeschool declaration to the district office. So can we actually track it? Honestly, no. But it is a requirement of homeschool parents by law that they turn that in.
Right.
So
They've got to declare a homeschool, right?
No, not really. I mean, I'd have to look at the form, but.
They declare that they're homeschooling.
They declare that
them.
they declare that they are using a program, and that they are abiding by the state of Washington laws.
Okay, thank
You're talking about the home-based instruction down below.
Yep.
Sorry, I hadn't got to that part, but you're spot on with that one. So choice in, choice out are the ones above, and then yes, you see our home-based instructions. Nakia, like I said, tracks those each year. We get families who come in. A lot of times they'll come in asking. Some of these are families we see each and every year. We get new families into this. If they come in, then we help them with these. But yes, 25 students with 11 different families.
We are still paying attention to who's choicing out and kind of the scenarios and kind of that stuff. We're monitoring that still.
Every choice out parent meets with me. So I keep data on the rationale and why, whether it's program, whether it's a specific staff member incident, what has led to it. I keep data on every single one of those. So I won't sign off on those. She schedules them. I see them in my office appointments, and I come in, she says I have an appointment, and that's who I meet with. So if we continue, this one's a little bit more, as we know, we'll say, I don't know, disturbing is not the right word, but concerning, because we know this is still an issue for us. TriTech, you can look at as excited, but it also means lots of FTE. We are getting more and more kids. You're seeing this as a trend. This is not just us, but we're getting more and more kids flocking to the trades. And again, I'm not telling you that's a bad thing, but with that, you see that we're increasing our enrollment at TriTech. And I put the numbers off to the side there. Of those students going to TriTech, of our 11th, 12th graders, that's 20% of those kids. Our high school, it's 8% of our student body that go to TriTech. Keep in mind they're there typically for a morning or an afternoon, and they'll come back for some of those other pieces. But just want to keep you updated on our TriTech numbers. The one we continue to watch each and every single year, and you see what's happening with our numbers, is Running Start. It's becoming, I can't tell you, it's just becoming more and more popular. You've got more parents and more students decide to take this as an opportunity. You can see our numbers went from 30 to 36 this year. I still, it's just concerning for me, obviously, because we want to serve those students, right? But we understand there's an opportunity for that, and every student and family, it's a unique decision that they make, and so we'll always honor that decision. But we're up to 33, so 1 out of every 3 of our juniors and seniors are attending at least partial some part of Running Start, and that makes up 14% of our high school.
What's our competition? How do we compete with that, with our 11th? How can we get them to stay here?
College and the high school. We offer that. We certainly encourage that to where you can build those credits in high school and still maintain those credits. There's lots of stories, pros and cons on both sides of that, and again, it depends on the student and their unique situation. So I could go into lots of what students tell me and how that works, but it's, Running Start has become, if you look historically, it's much easier just to get into now. It used to be kind of, eons and whiles ago, the select a few taught, but they've opened it wide for everyone and, come one, come all.
They want the money. And for the student and family to look at that and say, okay, if I do this right, I can get a 2-year associate's degree from CBC, basically for just going there and working.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
Cost, no, yeah.
Doesn't cost a thing. You can walk out, classes, books. I mean, it's paid for. I mean, so I understand. For some families, it's a great opportunity. It's hard to compete with that. Okay. Questions on that?
How many do we have enrolled in our programs here?
Specifically dual credit. I'll get those updates for you and bring it back to you. I know Kyle talks about that each year when he does his high school piece. He'll talk about the number of opportunities that we have, the number of credits that we get out each year. So if he's not up sooner, I'll get those numbers for you. We have several teachers, doing those programs where they can opt into various different pieces. So I'll make sure we update that when high school comes to talk with you about that. Wawa County elections update. I want to give you just a kind of a quick update because we're kind of in the transition between the November general election and the February election, which, as you guys know, you were part of that piece to place a couple of election propositions on the February ballot. I just thought this was interesting. I want to bring this to your attention as it shapes the way we think about talking with our community regarding elections. And really the message you're going to hear from myself and everyone that we're talking about the upcoming election is really just about we want to get people out to vote. That our sole purpose is get people to mail their ballots in. We're encouraging participation. The why part. In Washington State, you can see this is current data as of on the bottom right-hand corner, December 2nd. So this is live. You can get it from the state elections department. This in Washington State, we have just over 5 million registered voters. So you see voters in the election. You can see the 5.1 million. And you can see this was for the last general election in November. Okay? If you want to take that down to Walla Walla County, you're able to go in and start looking at these pieces. And I did some pieces where I disaggregated that information for you. You click on the county, you can see the breakup of just Walla Walla County. Bottom right, you'll see we're right in the mid 38,000 registered voters in Walla Walla County. But as you look at that and you disaggregate that based on the age, you can kind of see the total number of votes of registered voters. Now, this is not who voted. These are just eligible voters that could submit their ballots. It doesn't take long for you to look at that and say, who's controlling the vote in Walla Walla County? And, it's important for us to know these things, right? So as we look at that, keep in mind, this is not Burbank. This is Walla Walla County. So it's also Prescott, Waitsburg, the city of Walla Walla, everyone else involved.
Should be similar though. I mean, for a split.
I'm going to break it down for you as we get close to ours. So as you get to this, as you start looking to Walla Walla County, this was the last general election. Now, this is an actual number of actual ballots submitted by age group. Doesn't say whether they voted yes or no on anything. Keep in mind, we didn't have any propositions on it. But this is people, because we're all mail in, this is who dropped their ballots off. Okay? And if you start looking at this from 65, 55, 45, 35, 25, what you sequentially see is the younger you get, the less likely you are to vote in our county. Now, I will tell you, this is not just Walla Walla County. If I mirror the Washington State's numbers on here, they're going to be very similar. There's a couple percents here and there, so it's not exact, but the trend is statistically accurate across the state as well. But you can see 51% that submitted in the last general election was at 65 or older. Okay? So let's look at that and break those down now to how many of them actually submitted versus did not submit their ballots. So look at the trend. Now this is all of the folks within those pieces and who's actually dropping their ballots off. We're a mail-in. It's funny, as I've been talking to people, I make jokes about Chads and things like that, and there's some people who look at me that have no idea what I'm even talking about. We've gotten to that place where, and so You can see, the older we get, the more likely we are to feel that it's our civic responsibility to submit that ballot. And the cause for concern of me when I talk about this is, when we talk about just getting people out to vote, is what is our school's bread and butter? Our bread and butter is down here, right? These are our parents. These are the ones that have kids in here. And we're submitting ballots at 17, 26, and maybe 34. So at best, we're catching 1 out of 3. Again, this is the county, not Burbank. So when we begin talking about elections, we're really pushing just, let's get people out to vote. We're wanting to promote, please drop off your ballot. The other piece we're considering is, how do you reach out to a younger generation to remind them, don't forget to drop that off and do that. Primarily, a lot of that you're going to see with the district factual stuff that we're going to be putting out. We'll still have some of the pieces that we've always done, but we're going to shift and begin trying to figure out, how can we promote a digital message? Okay, how can we promote a social media message? How can we begin encouraging our youth to make sure that they get out and vote? Mr. Gale has already seen this. He's seen the statistics. I could talk to you, our board reps were here. They're talking about mock elections and doing things like that, as we talk to students just about getting out to vote. Michael?
Do we have all of our 18-year-olds registered to vote?
We've discussed it already. We're working through that process. I couldn't tell you exactly if we do or not, but I know it's been discussed. We've already had the conversations, and that's built into the lessons and the pieces that we have done and the American government stuff. And that's not just like this year. That's done every year as part of our, you can't do that just on election years. So that's something that's part of his regular curriculum we take care of each year.
Who teaches that government class?
Mr. Gale. He and I have talked a couple times about this, about these statistics, and he's actually taken these statistics and working with our students about it.
To me, it would be, well, to me, a teacher in his position could almost say, if you register to vote, you get a great benefit just for being registered. You know, we don't know how you vote or if you vote, but to be registered. And if you do not register, I mean, to me, that could almost be like a, well, punitive, I don't know, but it's, when I was in school, they talked about if you're 18, you need to register to vote. It's a part of the civic piece.
We certainly can't make it punitive, but what we can do, we actually have lessons, and we're talking about, like, literally, how do you fill this out to register to vote? We're like walking students through, so it's very easy where to go and what to do on how to register. So that's part of our pieces on that. So, like I said, that part's, we do that every year. So, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention. I first saw these numbers 4 years ago. And I did that following our last EP&O election, and I will tell you the numbers were almost identical. And that was the first. If you watch the old cartoon with the person's jaw that drops all the way to the street or the ground, you know, that was my, like, oh my gosh, we got to think about this differently, just to encourage people to get out and vote. So, any follow-up or questions on that?
Is there also messaging to the age group? Right, like, they're the main voters.
Yeah.
So, getting their feedback and response and interest in supporting these bonds and levies.
Yeah, it's something we're crafting, strategizing. How do we reach them? You know, the things that we've done in the past. We sent a mailer home. We sent stories home. Who does that reach? The people that read those things are not the ones down at the bottom there. Those are the ones that are going to read those things at the top, right? Read the mailers and that stuff. How are you going to reach that group down before? You've got to come at it with a different piece. You've got to get short bursts, quick informations, reminders, things. Oh, I need to do this. We're busy. We've got kids. We've got games. We've got all these things. I need to somehow remember to drop this off in the slot for election night. Questions?
Lauren actually approached me. I guess she sat through one of your meetings.
We did?
My daughter.
We've had the staff levy sessions, informational sessions, so.
And she sent me a snapshot of You see it there?
No, I didn't. Go ahead.
I just sent it to you, but it's Richland, it's a sandwich board. So when you walk into the games,
Oh,
you
yes.
see this event or program is funded by levy dollars. I mean, put it out there to where, you almost got to trip over it and people understand that. I know we try to put it in the program and stuff like that occasionally, but
That
seemed like a great
program-
idea.
That program that they had last year at one of the playoff games was amazing.
I've already reached out to Granger. That's where it was. So you'll start seeing, beginning in January, we'll be attending the events, we'll have the flyers, we'll have the information. Those things will be out there. We're talking about, there are other districts we've seen that have those things regularly as part of everything they do 12 months around, though. It's an icon, it's a stamp, it's something if this is a levy-funded activity or piece, you've got that, some of those pieces. So we're working on lots of different ideas, trying to reach, all of our students and families.
I think I've taken it for granted that people kind of know what we're doing here. People don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to say they don't know, but I think the everyday person doesn't understand the difference between a capital projects and
Capital levy.
a capital levy and, the impacts that it has or potentially could have.
A
Well,
lot of the people I talked to in that 65-plus age gap really didn't have a clue. You know what I mean? They are like, well, you guys are already funded, yeah, but you don't understand all the programs that aren't funded. All the programs will lose without those dollars.
and I can tell you I know that because if you look at the people that should know, which you'd think would be school staff, levies and bonds are not something you go through a class in a school for, right? It's at the administrative and the district level. And so I go out to these staff meetings and people are like, oh my gosh, And so it's just that constant education on those pieces. Even within the organization, people are like, okay, I didn't quite understand how that works. And it's confusing, trying to make it as easily understandable as possible about how finances work in a district. It's not, your bread and butter finances. So we've got to make sure they understand at a level that they do. And I think I'm getting better over time crafting that message. I couldn't have crafted that same message 8 years ago. And so because of that, subsequently, we're getting better at that messaging. Okay?
Did my heart good.
What's
Lauren
that?
asking me questions about school stuff, like she was interested. Good job, by the way.
All right, very good. Okay, if I move on, we are at 9.6, the CWASA Regional Workshop. Just a reminder, you're invited to attend the annual workshop. This is here in Pasco at ESD 123 in January, so mid-January. This is kind of a last call. If you'd like to get in on that evening event, you need to let Nakia know. She'll register you. They serve a filling dinner, and then you're going to get to listen to Marissa Rathbone. She is taking over Dan Steele's position, and she's going to talk a little bit about statewide legislative initiatives and what we're doing as a regional, as a platform. So just check your calendars. If that's something you can do and you want to do that, let her know. We'll register for you for that, so there's no cost to you or any of that. Show up for dinner and a little presentation on that. Okay, just a reminder.
I'm in. I mean, yeah, okay, thank you. They're starting it pretty early. I don't think it's ever started at 4:30 before. I think they do that so the people who come a long ways can get home.
That makes sense.
Okay. So CWASA workshop, new presenter, Marissa Rathbone. Moving on, this was something from our last meeting, but we didn't take any action, so we brought it as a report style piece. It was discussed and added to last month's agenda to talk about the start times of school board meetings. So I'm bringing it back to you in new business in case you would like to take action now that we've got a full 5 here. It was discussed and proposed from the board to possibly adjust start times of board meetings from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. If that's something we want to do, certainly we're at the will of the board, but it would need to go to a vote because we have a traditional time at 7 p.m. And we would just need to communicate it accordingly. So we're going to discuss, have any conversation about that, whether it's the timing of that, whether you want to discuss the day, maybe from Monday to another day, but it's your conversation and how you'd like to do that.
I'd like to hear from you guys. I kind of the one that got it here, so.
Monday is really a good day for me if it's makes it easier for others to go from 7 to 6, I can support that.
I don't have a problem with it.
What does that do to you, though,
I
Crystal?
would not be able to make it to SAT 6. I get off at 6. So if I'm working that day, I would not make it.
So I would maybe make a motion or a recommendation, maybe we look at this again in a year or something. I mean, if you guys are good with that. I know Todd's got a little bit of a conflict too. He's got a kiddo in middle school and, you know, I just think we all need to be able to make it work good, so.
I could make it work, but I mean, it certainly needs to work for the board. And if you want me to table this and bring it back to you, 6 months and just see it start of next year and see middle of the year, just engage in that conversation and see how everybody's doing at that time, we can certainly bring it up again.
Good with that?
Okay, so we'll move along. All right, last month, Dana Stoltz was in front of you talking about transportation. She gave you the update, and we recommended to the board that eventually we'd be purchasing one more bus this next year as a reminder. This is that ongoing separation of purchase of 3 buses all at once. And she discussed with you the need for a new trip bus. This would give us a backup bus with storage underneath it. We currently have one, but only one, so if that goes down, it's nice to have a second backup bus. So we've got one prepared and ready to go, not a bus, but an order. All I need is, because the ask exceeds my policy threshold for spending, I need board approval to move forward with the purchase of the bus at $230,000. That fits within the transportation budget piece that we'll receive next year once we receive those dollars. So again, no money will come out of the general fund or these pieces. This is all transportation dollars being spent. As the board set up that schedule how many years ago, we'll remain with all these buses, a route bus for everyone on the depreciation schedule. And so, reminder, this will be a rear engine bus. These cost a little bit more, that's why you see the $230, because they have the storage going down the middle. And we'll be using Chetkey. It is using the OSPI state bidding contract. They're pre-bid, state bid contracts, so you're locked in at kind of we don't go out and shop that. The state does all that shopping for us, and so we just follow those state bid contracts.
Is this a pretty basic bus? I mean, it's hard to go through this and try to decide if we're ordering a Cadillac bus or a standard bus.
It's somewhere in the middle. Okay, your basic bus wouldn't have all the extras in there. There's a base price in there. You'll see on that. And you'll see some extras. Some of the extras, I would tell you, I wouldn't order a bus without it. Adjustable pedals, things like that for safety measures, things like that. If you were to ask me, just looking through that, Todd, give me an idea of where we're at, and I say why it's in the middle. There's a few things I've asked them to upgrade in terms of cameras and some other pieces that I think are safety features for us that you can get a base model for. But there are certain things that I think moving forward we need to look at enhancing for safety purposes and reasons. It's not a top of the line bus, but it's not a bottom of the line bus. You're asking me, it's somewhere in the middle there, Brad.
If it were a Gillig, it would cost $350,000, and it would be a really, really high-end bus.
For the high-end one, though.
What are you thinking?
It seems like a lot. I know early on when I got on the board, it seems like we're buying buses for $115,000, $118,000. And, you know, that's over doubled. We're $250,000 for one piece of equipment. And it causes me pause.
Yeah. Rightfully so. That same bus, if you're gonna look at, that's not a trip bus, a front engine bus that you're looking at, the last one we got, you're looking at that same bus for about $170,000, $180,000 right now. This is your standard front engine bus.
And a lot of it's just me getting over the increases in prices that we've had to deal with.
Sticker shock.
Yeah, it's sticker shock.
Yeah. This one would be set not to be delivered prior to the start of next school year, because that's when that next piece, that next funding piece comes through. So again, we're right on line with this. We're not sitting there with a whole bunch of money. We're just checking them off as they come through. So we're right where you need to be as a district to maintain and continue a solid, updated fleet. Anything that we have sitting off there is used as our backup pieces, but we've got buses on there that we use every day. Our kids are sitting in safe, I don't say new buses, because they're not all new, but they're all in depreciation. So all of them that are on routes are within the last 15 years of buses.
I'm good. I'd entertain a motion. Need a motion on this, right?
Make a motion to let, Mr. Hilberg approve this, ordering of this bus to come in for the 26th school year when we have the money.
I'll second that.
So we've got a first and a second. We're talking for a contract price of $230,457.08.
And the recommendation, or when the transportation person was here a couple of meetings ago, she talked about that we need one of these.
Another backup one. The one that we have has been in the shop. They all do here and there for things. And when that does, that leaves us without that trip bus. So right now we're doing okay. In the fall, that gets tricky with us with football. Football always needs a trip bus, things like that, just because of the storage. Really, you're buying this bus so we can take kids there and have that additional storage. Otherwise, we're going to double up a bus, and then we're taking two, and that's an additional driver and lots of additional costs for that.
That was the motion, Michael?
Yes.
Yeah. In a second, who had the second?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, unanimous.
Okay, board calendar review. Our next board meeting date, reminder, is Thursday, January 29th. That was discussed last month. As a reminder, the only reason this one's on a Thursday is because the Monday night is a home basketball game. You have a home basketball game Monday and Tuesday. We don't schedule board meetings on Wednesday nights. So this one and only board meeting is Thursday, the 29th. Things we got coming up, we just need to discuss and have a conversation. January is typically the annual, we look at board reorganization. And we kind of put that off a little bit, if we're fine right where we're at, but we need to at least pose the question to the board. And then I'll have any other updates for you at that time.
Okay, anything else for the good of the board? Hearing none? We're adjourned.
Remember, signatures.